Department of Neighborhood Development. Hand it over to Angela.
Good morning, Commissioners. Before us today is the Department of Neighborhood Development. Joining us today is Rick Wilson, the Deputy Director of Finance for D&D. There are 5 votes being presented today. The first vote begins with Donald Wright. He's the Deputy Director for Real Estate Management and Sales for D&D. The vote request concerns a transfer of the care, custody, management, and control from the Department of Neighborhood Development to the Boston Conservation Commission. This matter concerns vacant land located at an unnumbered parcel on DeForest Street in Hyde Park. This is a property transfer. Donald, if you'd present the vote request, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here requesting PFC approval for the transfer of a parcel identified in the vote packet as unnumbered DeForest Street parcel in Hyde Park neighborhood of Boston from the Department of Neighborhood Development to the Conservation Commission. The vote packet includes a comprehensive memo about the project and PFC vote requests. I have also provided 2 handouts related to the vote requests, which are displayed on the screen. The first image is a site map, and the second image shows a view of the current condition. This parcel consists of a total land area of 5,000 square feet of vacant forested land. The parcel was taken into D&D's inventory in June 2015 through tax foreclosure. The parcel abuts on both sides by parcels already in the Conservation Commission's inventory and consisting of the DeForest Urban Wild. Previous parcels were transferred to the Conservation Commission in 2003, 2004, and 2012. This is the last parcel in the Urban Wild to be transferred to the Commission and will complete the Urban Wild. If the PFC approves the vote request, the Conservation Commission will assume the care, custody, and management and control of the property and preserve it as a protected and permanent urban wild. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Donald. Any questions, Commissioners?
Is that a no-brainer?
It is a no-brainer. Was there ever any structure on this?
No,
parcel?
not at all.
Okay.
It's always been an urban wild.
Wow.
Well, I make a motion to approve this request.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Donald.
Vote number 1 is approved. Vote number 2 is being presented by Joseph Backer. He's a housing development officer with the Neighborhood Housing Development Division of D&D. This vote request concerns a tentative developer designation and intent to sell to New Urban Collaborative LLC vacant land located at 40 to 50 Warren Street in Roxbury. The purchase price is suggested at $100. Joseph, if you present your vote request, please.
Thanks. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I'm here requesting PFC approval for the tentative developer designation of New Urban Collaborative LLC for the parcel identified in the vote package in the Roxbury section of Boston. D&D conducted an extensive public process that resulted in this vote request. Over 12 community meetings were held to discuss the development of the parcel. A request for proposals was issued on July 16th, 2018, and advertised in the State Central Register and the Boston Herald. 2 development teams applied to the RFP and 2 were determined to meet the eligibility criteria. All eligible developers were invited to a community meeting to present their proposals. Based on community feedback and D&D review of all eligible applications against the RFP evaluation criteria, we recommend the tentative developer designation of New Urban Collaborative LLC. In particular, New Urban Collaborative LLC's proposal achieves diversity and inclusion in its development team, below-market office rents, and a commitment to incorporating the good job strategy into the selection of its commercial tenants. All of these components were important community priorities enumerated in the RFP for this parcel. The vote package also includes a comprehensive memo about the project and PFC vote request. And I have provided 3 handouts related to the vote request, which are displayed on the screen. The first is a site map. The second shows architect's renderings of the proposed building. And the third is a current photo of the parcel. In summary, if PFC approves the vote request, it will result in the following public benefits: 16 new income-restricted rental housing units, two of those units will be rented to households that are currently homeless and need rental assistance. 6 units will be rented to households earning up to 50% of the area median income. 8 units will be rented to households earning up to 80% of the area median income. The project will improve the use of one parcel of city-owned land currently utilized as surface parking with a mixed-use building. The project will create new open space that can support the operations of the ground floor retail and provide public art displays for Dudley Square residents. And the project is also expected to create 58,682 construction hours, which will generate jobs among the building trades. I am here to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. I have 2 questions to
Sure.
start off, and then I'll ask the commissioners if they have any. Number 1 is the appraised value of this parcel is $1.245 million based upon a June 10th, 2019 appraisal, and we're selling it for $100. And the second question, which is related to the first, is that in the memo, I just want to make sure this is on the record and accurate. In the memo, Nuestra Comunidad had offered $900,000, but was seeking $2.8 million in subsidy from D&D. So
Right.
again, their $900,000 was not really, I just want to be clear for the record
Yeah.
that the other bidder was still at $100, really.
That's correct.
And then it goes back to the logic of why this $1.2 million parcel, I'd like you to explain why,
Sure.
for the record, why the logic of selling this for $100 rather than trying to seek the appraised value of that is in the city's interest.
Happy to do that. Thanks for the question.
Yep.
So the offer by Nuestra Comunidad Development Corporation of $900,000 was seen by the evaluation committee as incorrect, and as you stated, because they were
Using city money
subsequently
to
going to be requesting
Pay for it.
subsidy from DND as part of the development of this project, the D&D past practice, which is informed by HUD guidance, disallows the acceptance of an acquisition fee for public land when that subsidy is being requested. So despite the difference in the offer amounts in the 2 proposals, the evaluation committee viewed the price in light of the subsidy requests of both packages as $100.
Because they were going to be using city money to pay the
That's
city.
right. Yeah, and it would essentially
It would pay itself.
cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that,
Exactly.
And then the second part of this is the logic behind not just, was there what, the logic behind selling this for $100 as opposed to an open market? Like, what's the,
so I believe that is informed by D&D practice whenever a project is receiving subsidy to create a public benefit in the form of affordable housing. We accept an acquisition price of $100 for the same reason that we are giving out subsidy, and it would.
And it's, I mean, the price is really determined by what the city is getting for this
Yeah.
project, right? So the RFP, the development guidelines, and informed by the community process, which was a very long, multi-year community process with the Roxbury Project Review Committee and the Roxbury Strategic Master Plan Oversight Committee. It was important to the community that there be affordable housing on this site and affordable commercial space. And you can't have affordable housing and affordable commercial space. It would not be financially feasible if we were asking or demanding a full appraised value of the property. In order to make that work, not only are they going to require land subsidy to provide that affordable housing and affordable commercial space, but they're going to require additional subsidy from city and state resources on top of that. So
Yeah.
this was an important public benefit for the city. It's what the community wanted for this site. And we're happy to support that and give the community what they want here. And as you know, this is the mission of the department, is to create affordable housing. One of the things we do. So we felt like, and the evaluation committee and the community felt like, it was worth foregoing that revenue to the city in order to get this important public benefit for that neighborhood.
thank you. Any
Well,
questions?
In reality, you actually are getting the revenue because D&D is actually subsidizing the housing development and so forth. So it's kind of almost doing what the other company did, is throw a price out. You're just not showing it, but the city actually is, by subsidizing these developments, really getting the full market value for what you're doing.
Sure, yeah, I think that's, yeah.
So
Sure.
my question is, thank you for your presentation for the memo. It's very evident that there's been a thorough community process, and we worked with the appropriate partners. So you may not have the answers to this question, but I just have to ask, because this project will result in less parking, and I know that parking is an issue. But I do think that having more residential opportunities in Dudley would help to revitalize it. But is there a larger conversation regarding where parking will be available for folks in the Dudley area?
Yep. So this parcel was one of 4 that was released through the Plan Dudley request for proposals process, and the RFP for this parcel, 40-50 Warren, actually specifically stated that no parking was required in the proposals for this parcel because the community had identified one of the other sites, 135 Dudley Street, as a potential site for increased parking. And in fact, the proposal that came in for that site, all of the proposals had parking involved there. So it was seen as an aggregate plan, and the RFP for this parcel took that in mind when it said parking was not a necessary component.
Okay, thank you for your answer.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vote number 2 is approved. Vote number 3 is being presented by John Feuerbach. He's a Senior Development Officer with the Neighborhood Housing Development Division of D&D. This vote request concerns an amendment to the vote of October 24th, 2018 to extend the tentative designation and intent to sell period from 12 to 17 months to sell to New Urban Collaborative Limited. This is vacant land located at 108, 110, 112, and 114 Marcellus Street, 93 to 95, 97, 101, 105, 109, 113, 115, 121, 123, and 125 to 125R Marcellus Street. There's an unnumbered parcel on Beach Glen Street and also an unnumbered parcel on Thwing Street in Roxbury. John, if you'd present your vote request for a time extension, please.
Thank you, Angela. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here requesting a 5-month extension of the tentative developer designation of New Urban Collaborative Limited for the parcels that Angela outlined, a total 16 parcels. As background, prior to the developer designation in 2018, D&D conducted a very extensive community process. D&D staff met on many occasions with representatives of the Highland Park neighborhood. It led to the defining of the mission, the vision, and the objectives that were in your request for proposal that was issued in the end of 2017. The RFP was due in 2018. All advertisements were done properly in the State Central Register, the Boston Herald, and in fact, after we did the tentative developer designation, we ran the city record ad. We had 2 eligible development teams that applied. 2 were reviewed by the neighborhood. Based on community support, PFC approved the tentative developer designation of New Urban Collaborative on October 24th, 2018. The reason why we're requesting the 5-month extension is it would enable the team to receive, in essence, sign-off approvals for the permit from both Boston Water and Sewer as well as Public Works. They have applied to Water and Sewer in the process of getting that approval. Second, finalizing construction financing. They've got a relationship with Boston Private, and they're working with them, but it hasn't reached that point. And third and final, they're working with a contractor to price out their construction bid. It's appropriate that all those tasks will be accomplished within 5 months, and I'll be able to come back for a conveyance vote at that time. The vote package includes a comprehensive memo that gets at what I just mentioned, and I've also provided some handouts to you that are on the screen. The first is a building image of the structure, and this is a elevation that has been worked on with both D&D as well as the Boston Planning Development Agency, as well as it's been vetted with the neighborhood. It's still a work in progress, so when we come back for the conveyance, there will be some improvements to this. And then The second is another rendering of the buildings, and it just shows existing conditions on Marcella Street in Highland Park. In summary, if the commission approves the 5-month extension request, it would result in the following public benefits. The development includes 12 new homeownership development units in 5 buildings. There will be 8 affordable units and 5 market rate units. I think one of the great things that there's a diverse income mix in the development. The developers could be providing new homes for buyers at or below 60% of area median income, 80% of area median income, 100% area median income, and market rate units. And that was something that was worked out with the neighborhood. It was identified in the request for proposal, and to the developer's credit, he's addressed that. We're going to have a very strong green development. We're going to have an open space provision. They've got great linkages between this site and other sites in the neighborhood. The development will be LEED Platinum, and it will, in essence, it will be creating more energy than the units will need themselves. So that's great, and it's sort of consistent with the mayor's net zero policy, trying to get the city by 2050 to be net positive. And then last, the project will revitalize the 16 parcels that Angela outlined in the introduction. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions?
I assume you feel confident that you're only asking for a 5-month, not a 12-month extension, that this will be wrapped up, and in month 6, this will be before us for a final?
Correct, yes.
Perfect.
Just a curiosity, why are there no windows on any of the sides of?
Excuse me, Commissioner?
Why didn't they design this with windows on the sides? I think that's one of the,
The updated elevations
Okay.
will have that.
okay. It's just
Yeah,
hard to live in that
that's one of
box,
the,
you know?
That's one of the items we have picked up on design review
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
We've commented on.
It's like not a way to live.
no, what you'll see is an improved building elevation that will outline all of the windows, and you'll also, we'll see a little better treatment of the site plan,
Okay.
the
You
landscaping.
could see if they were going to plan row housing or something, but it's
Right.
not,
Yeah.
you know. Anyway,
Motion to approve?
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vote 3 is approved. Vote 4 is also being presented by John Feuerbach. This vote concerns an amendment to the vote of October 24th, 2018 to extend the tentative designation and intent to sell period from 12 to 36 months to sell to Reese Larkin Development LLC. This matter concerns vacant land located at 273, 275, 277, 279, 281 to 281A, 283, and 287 Highland Street. The properties are located in Roxbury. This is a time extension request. John, if you'd present your vote.
Thank you, Angela. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here requesting a 24-month extension of the developer designation of Reese Larkin Development for the parcels that Angela outlined in the introduction. As background, similar to the prior vote, it had an extensive community process. It was, in fact, part of the same request for proposal that was issued. The request for proposal included 5 packages. This was one of the 5 that was included in that. The request for proposal was issued at the end of 2017. The proposal was due 2018. We did the ads in the State Central Register, the Boston Herald, and subsequent to the tentative developer designation, we ran an ad in the city record. 5 development teams responded. All 5 were determined to meet eligibility criteria. We went out to a community meeting. It was a great community meeting. Based on community feedback, there was support for the Reese Larkin team, and on that basis, PFC approved the tentative developer designation of Reese Larkin on October 24, 2018. The reason why I'm requesting an extension of 24 months is to allow the developer to pursue state funding at the State Department of Housing and Community Development. I think what's important to know is not only are we providing a land subsidy, but they're looking for city subsidy to support the development, and they're also looking for state funding as well, matching funding. In fact, right now they're with D&D right now, we're evaluating the request in preparation for going to DHCD in early November. Our fingers are crossed that that they'll be invited into the round, which would be due in February, but notwithstanding all the great efforts of D&D promoting the developments and developers putting the best foot forward, because of the backlog in requests at DHCD, it's very common for projects to be rejected the first year. So what they would do is they would reapply for D&D, and then they would go through the process again, and thus the need for the additional time request of the 24 months. In summary, I've got the memo that is part of the request, and then I've got a couple slides here to share with you. The first is a neighborhood locus map. You can see the site there in Highland Park. The second is a view of the existing conditions, street view. The third is a rendering of the development. This has been reviewed by D&D, BPGA, as well as neighborhood folks, and it's still in a schematic early stage, but this is where they are right now. And here's another rendering.
Thank you, John. Any questions from the?
No, I just want to, again, thank you for the explanation for the 24 months, as opposed to, again, more for the record, why something was 5 months, but this case, it's really not the issue of the developer or the city or D&D, it's financing on the state side.
This one here involves state matching funds, whereas the prior vote was staying within D&D itself, and in fact, there's no subsidy request at the prior vote. So that enables us to move a little bit quicker.
Mm-hmm.
But this, as well as other rental developments that come through D&D requiring state matching funding, we're always going to, unfortunately, get that delay. What's unique about this, if I could just take one moment,
Mm-hmm.
it's a community-supported limited equity cooperative. It involves 23 units of new housing, and it's got deep affordability. We'll have some at or below 30%, we'll have some at or below 60, we'll have some at or below 80, and then there'll be some market rate units. It's the same green development, it's the same energy positive, so by the fact of having green development as well as the solar panels, it will be creating more energy than the units will need to consume. So again, that's in the spirit of the mayor's 2050 plan to promote energy positive.
Great.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Vote number 4 is approved. The final matter today is being presented by Rick Wilson. This is noted as vote number 5. It's a certificate of authority vote, and this concerns written records that are filed at the Registry of Deeds in Suffolk and the Registry's District of the Land Court. This certificate seeks to amend the prior certificate and add to it the name Deborah Rufo. She's a controller with the Department of Neighborhood Development. Rick, if you have any further information you'd like to present on the certificate of authority request.
Pretty self-evident.
Yeah, it's self-explanatory. Deborah joined us a few weeks ago. She was previously at the city auditing department. She's replacing our former controller, John Carboni, who was with the department for 40 plus years, I think. So we're happy to have her.
Thank you, Rick. Any questions?
No. Motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Rick.
Vote 5 is approved. Is there a motion to adjourn this portion of the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.